And I think you'll probably all have a message now saying that the meeting is being live streamed.
We do.
Okay.
Well, I do. Sorry, I do.
You're good to go.
Excellent. Well, excuse me. Good evening, everybody.
Evening.
I haven't chaired a planning committee meeting for some time, so I hope I know the ropes. So moving on, item 1, apologies for absence. Do we have any?
Yes, I have apologies from Jackson Ng and Paul Henry.
Thank you. Minutes of the last meeting. I don't know whether you've had a chance to look at the minutes. I wasn't present at the last meeting, so I can't really certify that's a true copy. But I imagine, Deirdre, of course, you chaired it, didn't you?
They're all right as far as I'm concerned. But
Yeah. Is everybody happy with the extract of the minutes? Can we? Yep. Great. Thank you. So we can sign off those. Item 3, declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest, please? Alison.
As usual, I want to declare I'm a Bucks Unitary Councillor and I sit on the South Area and Strategic Sites Committee. So I will be keeping an open mind on all of the applications tonight. Won't be predetermining any of them. And in fact, I'd ask Alexa, would it be possible to pop me back in the waiting room when this committee discusses the Beaches Park application?
Yep, that's no problem. I can do that. I can put you in Clink.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Well, item 4 is public forum. I assume as this matter's being recorded, the public can follow it in due course.
Yep, and I haven't had any particular questions that have been put forward in the public forum.
Okay, excellent. So moving on to item 5 rather than 6, plans. I have to say that I'm afraid I haven't had much of a chance to look at the plans. I have tried quite diligently, I have to say, since Sunday to review the plans. And when I have, as Tracy will affirm, the site declared that there were no documents on each application. And it did seem to come back to life and then went back to zero, as happened actually even this morning. But I believe the site's back and up and running, because I was trying to look this evening before we had the meeting, and I think it seems to be working. Alexa, sorry. Yeah.
Tracy has been talking to planning and trying to find out about IT and that sort of thing. Tracy, do you just want to tell them what they told you that was going on? Because it has been up and down for days.
2 seconds. What have I done? Is it? No, what have I done here? I killed it. Right, okay. They've actually told me that they're trying to put in Aylesbury Vale planning, which is going in on the 12th, but it's just playing up with intermittently. It's not, there is nothing they can do. They've let their IT people know. Countless councils have had problems accessing the planning website during meetings and obviously looking at applications. So they are aware, but there's nothing they can do at the moment.
So they told us to keep trying.
And that's all they have said.
Have they not heard of parallel running? When I was working, we were a firm of accountants, and frankly, to have the website going down and not accessing anything, I think we would have been sued. So I have to say, I'm somewhat surprised that if you've got a new system, that it's not parallel run with the existing, and where there are issues, you get those resolved before you go actually online, in main production. I don't know whether we should complain, but I mean, it certainly, by the sound of it, has been pretty disruptive. Does anybody have anything to comment on? Alison, sorry, I didn't see you. Yeah.
I think you make a good point, Graham, actually, because I found over the past few days it's been actually impossible to access the applications. And it might be worth Tracy contacting the Bucks Planning Department to say, you know, that they should extend the time for objections on some of these applications, because members of the public won't have had a chance to look at everything before, you know, before the deadlines.
I totally agree with you. Funnily enough, this evening I've had a couple of phone calls over the Beaches Park scenario in saying exactly that. In fact, they thought that it had been closed early. They didn't realise that there was a technical issue. Again, I mean, we had to telephone to find out there was a technical issue. We weren't told, terribly sorry, we're implementing new software. There may be some issues. I mean, it's pretty grim, to be frank. Colette.
Yes, I've already written to them. I've already asked that they extend beaches. I would love you to do that as well, Tracy and Duplicate. I think that they are already considering it. So no problem. I think that they have a statutory right to extend it because of technicalities. So who's actually taking the minutes tonight? Is it you, Alexa, or is it you, Tracy?
Tracy will be taking the minutes. I'm clerking.
Okay, lovely. Great. Glad we clarified that.
Excellent. Okay, well, moving on, because we've got a lot to deal with, dealing with the plans. As I say, I've only very briefly looked at these. I don't know whether you've had a better opportunity than I, so if I've missed something, please give me a shout. Anyway, PL/21/3720/FA, Soho House 37 Redwood Place, single story rear extension, front porch and changes to window, doors and external cladding. I've probably spent about 3 minutes looking at this. I can't see an issue personally, but has anybody got any comments to make?
Nope.
Okay,
Fine.
no objection. Thank you. Moving on, PL/21/3706/SA, 59 Heath Road, certificate of lawfulness for proposed widening of existing vehicular access and hard standing. Certainly no issue over this item. Fine, thank you. Moving on, PL/21/3656/FA, 69 Gregory's Road, erection of front boundary railings, entrance piers and sliding gate. Again, I've no objection. Any comments? Paul?
Yeah, my only thought, and I'm not clear exactly on what the rules are about distance of the gate from the road. I'm sure that'll be looked at by Unitary. I think it looks to be about 3 meters. I'm not sure if there's a specific rule on that. I've read various things, but maybe somebody could help me on that.
Well, sorry, the boundary railings do appear to be on their land, from what I could see on the plan.
No, it's a distance from the gate to the road. That's all. Whether
I see. Sorry,
enough
right.
to allow vehicles to pull off. That's all.
Yeah. Yes, because what effectively the sliding gate. There wasn't a sliding gate there before. It was just an open.
Correct.
Because I know 69 Gregory's Road. I know the chap that used to live there, but I'm sorry, I'm not. I'm not in. I haven't got a vested interest or anything like that. I take your point. The gate certainly is on the boundary, from what I could see on the plan. So as indeed has happened in my road, where people have these sliding gates, they have to wait in the road for the thing to open before they can get in, and that can cause congestion. But my understanding is that provided the gate is on their land, there isn't a lot that can be done. So far as the distance of the gate from the road is concerned, I don't think there's a specific, provided that it's not on the footpath, I don't think there's a specific distance that the gate has to be, as far as I'm aware. Do correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's the case. Okay, but we can check that. Could we? Sorry, Alexa. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it depends on the height of it. There is a restriction on how high something can be within I think it's 6 feet, or a metre and a half, 2 metres.
Yes, and sorry, yes.
There would be that sort of restriction. If this is a high gate, the fact it's 3 metres back is probably more than ample. And the only thing that the planning officer, or sorry, I don't know the only thing, the planning officer will look at lots of things, but it will be to make sure that they've got sufficient vision when they've come out of their gate, that they can see left and right. So the fact it's 3 metres back is probably quite a good thing.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay, thank you. Moving on, PL/21/3623/FA, Rosecroft, 29 Ronald Road, demolition of existing garage and erection of a Part 2 single story side /rear extension. This actually is a further revised application for previous application which turned down because of overdevelopment, etc. I've looked at it. As I say, I haven't had very long to look at it, but I've looked at it, and certainly from what I can see, they've taken into account the criticisms of the previous application, and I believe that we are probably happy not to object. But I don't know whether anybody else has got any comments. No? Okay, fine. Moving on, PL/21/3584/FA, Wilton House, One Tree Lane, proposed boundary wall and widening of driveway entrance and vehicular crossover. I couldn't see any reason to object unless anybody else has got any. No? Great, thank you. PL/21/3589/FA, 3 Eaton Place, single story rear extension. No real objection to that. I couldn't see any issues. Unless anybody else has got any comments. No? Thank you. PL/21/3586/FA, 21 Heath Road, construction of replacement pitched roof to single story side and front elements, replacement garage door with window, internal alterations and changes to windows and doors. I couldn't see any reason to object to this personally. It didn't seem to me to be an issue. Unless anybody else has got comments to make. Okay, thank you. PL/21/3519/FA, 76 Wattleton Road, part single, part 2 story front and rear extensions, alterations to existing rear single story extension roof, 1 front and 2 rear roof lights, new front porch and alteration to windows. Now this is, I don't know whether you've had a chance to look at the plans, particularly at the rear. The window, there are only 2 floors. There aren't 3 floors to this property, but the rear bedroom, I assume, has floor-to-ceiling windows pitched in the roof, looking over the garden. There are also some Velux windows in the roof, but I think that they are there to provide additional light, from what I could see on the plans. So my only concern is overlooking of neighbours' properties. Now, whether the person in the bedroom has to stand on a stepladder to get to the right top of the pitch to look through at next door's garden, that is a question. But there is a significant additional height to what one would normally expect to be a window, which would then offer the opportunity, of course, for people to overlook their neighbours' gardens. I don't know, Tracy, have we got, could we just look at the...
doing it.
Yeah.
Which bit do you want?
Yes, you've just, I think we just need to roll down a bit, Tracy. That's it. Great, thank you. That's the rear elevation. As you can see, I'm a bit. I don't believe there are 3 floors, as I understand it. I say I've only briefly looked at this. I think there are only 2 floors, but for some reason or other, the upper windows are pitched into the roof, which is unusual. Now, I was wondering whether if this is only into one, and I believe it is, into one bedroom, and they've already got windows, whether we could ask for obscure glass or something to be fitted to those top windows. Alexa, you've got a comment.
Just to say, if that is just one bedroom,
Yep.
any human being can only the middle line in the middle of the windows is the roof line where your windows would be in any room that you're in.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Yes.
Whilst they would get the benefit of the light into the room, they won't actually be able to see out of them unless they're on a step ladder.
That's what. Okay. Yes, that's what I thought. Yeah. Okay. Very unusual. Do you think that is to give them additional light in their bedroom? Is that the reason? Oh, okay. Yeah.
And they will
somewhat strange.
They will have vaulted the ceiling inside, so it hasn't got a flat ceiling. It's got a vaulted.
Yes, and they've got Velux windows in that vaulted ceiling as well.
Mm.
They're obviously very keen to have a lot of light in the bedroom for whatever reason. Okay. Yes, that's what I thought. Okay, so I think we will say no objection then. That's fine. Thank you. Right. Yes, PL-21, 3487-RM, junction of Burgesswood Road and Westfield Road, installation of 15-metre phase 8 monopole C-W wraparound cabinet at base and associated ancillary works. Now, Colette, yes, I was just going to say you've actually drafted, or you did previously draft a response to this, I think after consultation with other councillors.
No, I didn't, Graham. Sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Chairman.
Right.
But I didn't draft that in consultation. That is just merely my response, which I've put on the portal as an objection.
So that's just your response.
Yes, it's merely mine. It's not in collaboration with anyone else. But what I wanted to do was to say that I absolutely disagree with this. I know that there's been, I think, 80 comments so far on it from residents. I think it's a travesty. It's another lazy application. And I would strongly recommend that we do draft something of substance, which is individual to this specific application from a town council saying, no, no, no.
Well, you've just emailed, have you not? A detailed.
I've detailed what I've actually put on the portal, and I've shared that with all of the planning committee so that those people who haven't objected can see some of the objections that they could put forward if they wish to.
Right, I have objected, but it's only this week. So whether because of these technical issues it hasn't got on the site, I don't know. I haven't seen it actually, so I don't know. But Alison's done a very detailed expose on this, quite rightly. But what is coming out of all this really is that the company that wants to erect this mast is based in Leeds, and they appear to have got a hold of a map and not actually bothered to get into their car and go and have a look. Now, first of all, they think the thing's in Hotspur. They think it's an area of high density. And they obviously have no concept whatsoever of where this location is, which is pretty appalling, one has to say. Paul.
Yeah, and I believe I'm right in thinking it's the same company that tried to apply in Worcester Road, which was previously rejected at Unitary. My feeling is they've just tried, it's a scattergun approach. They're pushing them all out there, waiting to try and get something approved. As Colette says, it's very lazy. Their work. I think Alison's noted this as well. They make mistakes. There's nothing about why this site versus any other site. And I think, as Colette says, we should strongly object. I believe it closes tonight for responses. So we will need to get something in tonight, tomorrow morning, unless obviously because of the delays earlier in the week, there's an extension given to it. But yes, we should get something sent, and I have submitted my own objection.
Yeah, as indeed have I. So, Alexa.
In general, because we are a statutory consultee, they will let us put that in tomorrow. We won't have to get it in tonight.
I assume that, yeah.
So, Colette, you wanted to say something?
Yes,
Yeah.
Graham. I just want to say, I would like us to put in more than just we object. I would like us to put in a strongly worded objection, which is written out specifically to this application, because my concern is that we're sending in, a couple of lines and that's it. And we're not actually seen to be very strongly objecting. And on this particular application, I do feel very strongly about it. Presumably, Tracy, you're able to take what I think Alison, myself, and Paul have put together, and Graham, and put together a strongly worded objection? Or do you need help with that? Or
Alexa, sorry.
Yes. If you want something that is more detailed, then it would be best to draft it, and perhaps Graham can supply it into Tracy to.
Okay, let's do that then. Yeah, Graham, if I send you something this evening, which I'll send to Paul and everybody else here tonight first, and then we'll forward it to you to send to Tracy tomorrow.
Yes, that's fine. Yeah.
Perfect.
I should be able to do that. Yeah, that should be okay. Right, fair enough. Sorry, Paul.
No, I was just saying we seem to have lost Alison. I don't know quite what's happened to her.
Yes, we have actually.
She's got a dodgy connection. She's trying to reconnect at the moment.
Right.
Thank you.
What I said in my objection, I did suggest that they might like to consider putting the mast on the footbridge between Gregory's and Baring Road. And I believe this was considered before. Not 5G or whatever the equivalent was in those days. And I think the problem was who owns the footbridge. I think that was the issue. Alexa.
We do.
Oh, we do we? Oh, okay. Well, it seemed to me, they're talking about density and all the rest of it. Surely people going up and down on the train, if they were connected to, if that's what they're worried about, connected to the mast, that would be a good idea, wouldn't it? I don't know. Anyway, so Paul.
I simple comment. I would think the facilities, it's not just the mast, it's the facilities. I think if you tried to put them on the bridge, you'd block the bridge. So, because these are quite hefty sized cabinets. Yeah. Yes,
no, but actually, if you, as you probably know, if you look at the Simpsons Centre, you walk down that footpath on the right-hand side is a very substantial electricity transformer. So I would have thought you could put your cabinets there and then run some cables to the mast, which wouldn't be that long. I don't know. I'm not technical, so I've just tried to offer an alternative because, as I understand it, the coverage is not very good with 5G. But there we are. Colette.
Yeah, do you mind if I don't suggest you put it on town council land? Because by doing so, we'll devalue that bridge if we actually own it. And also, I don't see why they can't pay people like Waitrose, etc., to put it in their car park. Barclays Bank have one in their car park. Plenty of spaces around the town to put them.
That belongs to Bucks Unitary.
What does? Barclays car park?
Waitrose car park.
Waitrose, yes.
Car park. Okay, but there's lots and lots of spaces around Beaconsfield where you can put a mast. So, yeah, okay. Would you like me to add that in, Graham, that you wanted to go on Gregory's?
Well, no, I just suggest, as I understand it, I'm not technical, but as I understand it with 5G, the issue as to why they can't use the existing 4G is coverage. It's because of the the frequency, the coverage is a lot less. And that's why they've got to put more masts in to get the coverage. This is completely bonkers to put it here, because one of the issues in my mind is that if you look at Stratton Road going up is almost level with those emitters, or whatever you want to call them, radiators on the top of the mast. And Stratton, the houses at the top of Stratton Road are virtually level with those. And they are only somewhat less than 100 feet from the mast. So if I was sitting or sleeping in one of those bedrooms, and I sort of opened my window and I could see I would be a little bit concerned because I don't think there's been enough research into exactly. I mean, this is a sort of microwave type scenario, isn't it? And the health issue, I don't think, has been fully taken into account. That was another point I made actually on my objection. Lorna.
Just a couple of points. I see that the government legislation is to recommend that they use existing buildings rather structures, which they haven't done in this case. I don't think we should recommend where it should go. I think we just object to it and we look at the next application when it comes through, if it comes through.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's fine. Anyway, Colette's going to come up with, and then we'll. So if I circulate it and then everybody's happy, that we can then put it in tomorrow and take it from there. I would be most surprised if this is accepted. I don't know whether the individual members of the planning committee wish to be re-elected, but I suspect that they will be well remembered, because if this is accepted, as you rightly say, then lots of other sites, similar sites in Beaconsfield will just go through, and we will have these wretched masts all over the place, which I personally don't understand at all. Right, okay, thank you. So moving on. PL/21/3457/FA, Penfield 67 Gregory's Road. Alterations to roof, including raising part of the ridge height, installation of a flat roof with roof light and construction of a rear dormer, replacement of existing rear first floor window with projected enlarged windows. Well, this is a 3-floor job, and my goodness, the dormer to the rear is big. I don't know whether they want to take over from the Greenwich Observatory, but it does look as though it is rather large. I don't know whether you can bring the plan up, Tracy, can you?
I'm just doing it.
Yeah. So I certainly, on behalf of neighbours, would be somewhat concerned. Yes, they have actually, I think, on the side elevation, they have actually agreed to put obscure. Yes, we'll have a look. On the plan, I think it said obscure glass. So we just want to emphasise one obscure glass on the side. But I'm not entirely sure why they want such a large rear dormer at the back. I don't quite understand that. It looks completely out of, whether we can see it. That's the front. Where's the... Oh, yes, here we are. Yes. That is a pretty large dormer, I think you'd agree, up at the top there. Not entirely sure why it has to be quite so large, and it seems to be out of context with the rest of the house. As I say, unless the chappie is interested in observing the moon or something, I don't know. I wasn't able to see whether that was the only light, presumably to that bedroom. I don't know. Can we see that? Are we able to see that, Tracy?
There's the front. There's the. Let me see what else I've got in there.
Yeah, there might be is there a floor? Yeah, that's it. Floor plan. Let's have a look, see if we can. Yeah. Sorry, I was running out of time here. Right, so it's proposed second floor, I think, Tracy. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
New roof. There's a roof light.
There's a roof light in the roof. Sorry.
From a design point of view, I can clarify what they're doing there. Is to give them the roof height. So, rather because that dormer is going out from the rear roof, which is sloping down like this, the dormer brings it up to ceiling height. By extending it to the left, to the ridge height, it gives them that whole area of new room. So if you look at the drawing on the right on your screen at the moment, or actually either one, where it says new roof light, the dormer is the bit below, immediately below that. So although only part of it will have a window, by extending the whole area, it gives them it gives them a ceiling. It gives them a flat ceiling, whereas otherwise they'd be ducking under a sloping ceiling.
Tracy, this is your big opportunity to let Graham know about permitted development and third floors.
I can't remember that far back. I've got to write all the notes up.
No, actually, Graham, as far as my understanding is that this extra dormer comes under permitted development anyway. So we can object if we like, but as far as I know, this is permitted.
No, it's not really necessarily the dormer. It's the window that's actually being installed in the dormer that seems to me anyway, to be the issue. I mean, I'm just concerned that neighbours, I mean, obviously it's quite high, it's in the roof, that whoever, I know it's a bedroom, so they're not spending a great deal of time during the day, presumably in the bedroom, but that is a significantly large dormer. We had this issue actually on the corner of Gregory's and Fursfield with, forgot the 53, I think it was. And we did get them to reduce the size of the dormers. They had 6 dormers, and they did reduce the size of the windows. That's really my comment. I've no concern about the actual installation of a dormer per se. It's just that to turn it all into a window, if you like, which appears to be the case, seems to be. But you're saying that this is permitted development anyway, so they can have a.
As far as I know, yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. Alexa.
It would only be permitted development depending on whether the house has not been extended before and how much the floor space of the house has been increased from the original house.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that there is a neutral submission from a neighbour. I think it's the neighbour to the rear, which relates to wanting to make sure that the trees on the boundary are not in any way cut back. And they're all, I think he says they all have tree preservation orders on anyway, issued in 1995. So he just wants to make sure that his privacy would continue by those trees, which are on his property anyway, he says. So he would want to make sure that nobody would attempt from this property to reduce the height of number 10 Beechwood Road trees, which I'm sure is a very sensible comment by him.
Yes, I did see that. I think he was saying that these trees are in the applicant's garden, made to reduce the height of the oak tree in your applicant. So that it's easy.
He says the rear boundary trees and bushes stand in my property and therefore cannot be reduced in height without my permission. So I think it would be up to the unitary to put that as a condition to ensure. And then I personally think your comment about the style of the window, that window seems out of keeping with all the other windows. It looks like they're LED lighted windows in the rest of the house, or some structure like that. And I would think it would be right that it was done in a similar fashion.
Yes, I certainly would agree with that. I think it's out of proportion, as you rightly say, and it's a different design for whatever reason. Yeah, I mean, those trees would have TPOs on them, so they would not be able to cut them down without permission. I'm interested to hear that they need to get this gentleman's permission. I don't quite follow that, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. I mean, under the TPO, they can't trim or cut those trees down, so he should be okay. I can't see there's an issue there. Anyway, he's made the comment, so I don't think we need to comment further, do we? No. Okay. Is that all right, Tracy? Did you get?
Yeah.
You're okay, fine. Come back to me if you want some further advice. Okay, moving on. PL oblique 21 oblique 3400 oblique FA 4 Rockingham Place. Garage conversion retrospective. Now, this presumably is somebody that's built the garage and didn't realise they needed planning permission. I've looked at it. I can't personally see that there's an issue, unless anybody has any comments to make. No? Okay, I have no objection. Right, oh, well, we're moving on. PL oblique 21 oblique 3151 oblique OA, land adjacent to Amersham Road. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, you've missed one.
Oh, I do apologise. Sorry, I do apologise. Yes, sorry about that. PL oblique 21 oblique 3210 oblique FA 16 Caledon Road. Demolition of existing dwelling and erection of a detached house with integral garage, landscaping and new vehicular access. Now, this is a revised application because I can recall the original one, which was rejected. And in fact, I believe number 14, the owner of number 14 also owns number 16. That's somewhat strange, but anyway. And this is a revised application. And for my very brief, I have to say, look at the plans. It seemed to me to be more in keeping with the style of the rest of the road. And I didn't think there was an issue, but I don't know whether anybody else has got any comments to make. No?
Looks lovely.
Yes, it looks very, very nice. Yes.
Looks
yes,
lovely.
yes.
I thought the actual application should be applauded. Well, on it, not on the merits of the application, but just in the style and format. Thought it was very clear. Yeah, great.
Yes, the previous application, which I think was, I believe I'm right in saying, it was March 20. It was much larger and was out of keeping. And they, in fact, withdrew the application before it was going to be looked at by the committee. They recognised that the neighbours were objecting quite significantly. And obviously, because they intended to carry on living there, they have taken into account the points. And as you rightly say, yes, I think the design is pretty good.
Yeah.
Whether we should say anything other than no objection, I don't know. We could do. What do you think? I think we just say no. Just say no objection. Yeah, we can move on. Okay, fine. Sorry. PL oblique 21 oblique 3151 oblique OA, land adjacent to Amersham Road and Minerva Way, Beaconsfield. Outline application for the erection of residential dwellings, including affordable housing, use class C3, new vehicular access points off Amersham Road and the Eastern Relief Road, a local centre including a community building, use class E oblique A oblique B oblique C oblique D oblique E, F1 oblique D oblique E, F2 oblique A oblique B, and C3, a primary school and preschool using classes E oblique F and F1 oblique A, public open space and associated infrastructure, matter to be considered at this stage, access. Now, Colette, I think you've published quite a detailed paper on this, which I think you've
published many, actually, yes.
Yeah,
I do have an agreed with Alistair Pike and Paul Mason, and I believe Deirdre, you've agreed to the fundamentals of this, an objection from the council. I don't want to read the appendix, but if I may, I would like to propose to read just the outline of our objection. And if we can just agree this, we can get the objection in.
Can I just clarify, because this is such an important issue? We do have a meeting on Monday, don't we?
We do. My understanding from Alistair is that we don't need to discuss this particular application on Monday. We can actually agree it in this committee meeting and get our objection or whatever back into planning for tomorrow.
Right. Sorry, Alexa, I think you had your hand up first.
No, just to say your meeting on Monday is not a council meeting. And you are
sorry. I think Graham means next Thursday.
Sorry, I beg. We haven't. Sorry,
mean the
yes,
town
I
council
missed
meeting.
the
He
14th.
means
Yes,
the meeting
sorry,
next Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is the planning meeting. This is where you can determine your response to that planning application tonight in this meeting.
Okay, Paul.
Yeah, and just to say that, again, unless it's changed, it closes on October the 10th. So for anybody who wishes to make a personal objection to this, they should submit that before the deadline of October the 10th. Don't assume it will be extended. And therefore, yes, it has to be determined today, and we have to submit realistically tomorrow. Yep.
Okay, but we as a council don't have to comply with that date, do we? The 10th of October?
No,
No.
No, we
So-
don't, Graham. But
we can do
when I
it
went
later.
to the planning, when I went to a planning day at Bucks Unitary Council, they said, because I asked specifically about that matter, about the town council and our responses, and they said, yes, no, absolutely. The town council can respond at any time up until the determination of any application. However, the further it is away from the deadline, the less weight your response will carry. Now, that was the answer I was given. If that's incorrect, I'm absolutely fine. I can only quote what was given to me. Tracy was with me at the time, but that's what I've been told.
So you said further away. So in other words,
So if the deadline for the response is the 10th of October and we respond on the 10th of November, then our response is diluted. The weight of our response.
because this matter is not going to be heard until I think the 16th of December.
December. No, I know. But I'm just simply pointing that out. That really,
Okay.
as a town council, we have a duty to try and get our submission in and our consultation in on the deadline. Yeah.
Right. Okay, Alexa.
Just to say, as I mentioned earlier, as a statutory consultee, the council will take our comments.
And they did say they will. Yeah.
They shouldn't be diluted by a distance of time. Any comments on any application are diluted by a distance, physical distance from a site. So if someone in Leeds objects to a planning application in Burnham, it will have less weight than someone who lives right next door. But I don't think that certainly I have correspondence from a senior principal planning officer at Bucks who has explained how and when they will take our comments on any application.
Paul.
Yes, however, logic would suggest the longer they have it, the more time they have to consider it. And I think that's the point.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my only point was, I think that because this is such a significant application for lots of reasons, we wanted to try and take as many people's views as possible. But anyway, as far as this committee is concerned, there's no reason why we can't respond as we do with other applications. So, sorry. So going back to what you've just circulated, Colette, about an hour ago, you wanted to make reference to the appendix, I think you said. Is that right?
No, I don't want to read. I just want to read the bones of the objection. First of all, I'm assuming, and if we can just do a show of hands, that everybody here on this call in the planning committee objects to this application. Because I'm assuming that. I don't know that.
Yep.
So can we show a raise of hands if you object?
Sandy's not on the committee, that's why his hand's not up. Yeah.
I noticed that Councillor has joined the call, but he would normally offer
he
a
can't
declaration
comment,
of interest
can he? Yeah.
because he's on the.
Paul, you object, do you?
Yeah.
Right, okay. So we're unanimously objecting to this application.
Sorry, can I interrupt for a minute, please? Chairman, I am, although I'm a councillor, I'm not on this committee and I have no vote. Therefore, I have not raised my hand.
Oh, I just made that point, Sandy. I just said Sandy's not raised his
Thank you.
hand because you're not on the committee. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. I understand. Okay.
So what I wanted to do was just read what I think our objection is, and then Tracy can put it in with the appendix tomorrow. Is that all right?
Yes,
And
fine.
we're clear as to, or do I even need to bother doing that? Or would
Well,
you
I've
rather
read it. If everybody's read it and is in agreement with it,
we should just get it in? Yeah.
then we can. Paul, sorry. Yes.
I think it's quite concise. I think the members of the public would quite like to hear firsthand what we're saying. Yeah.
Okay.
Personally, I think we should.
I'm sorry for
Tell
the
me
for the
what to do,
purposes
Graham.
of the recording. Yes, by all means, please. Yes.
Okay. Beaconsfield Town Council response to planning application PL 213151 OA, and this is otherwise known as the Beaches Development. This is an outline application which proposes a development of 450 new homes to be built to the east of Beaconsfield on Greenbelt land. The site is approximately 3 kilometres from Burnham Beaches, SAC, and 0.66 kilometres from Chiltern, AONB. This application does not meet the National Planning Policy Framework, NPPF, criteria of very special circumstances, which might allow building on Greenbelt. Local planning authorities must ensure that substantial weight is given to any harm to the Greenbelt, and very special circumstances do not exist unless the potential harm to the Greenbelt by reason of inappropriateness or any other harm resulting from the proposal is clearly outweighed by other considerations. The NPPF continues in paragraph 149. A local planning authority should regard the construction of new buildings as inappropriate in the Greenbelt. None of the exceptions noted in paragraph 149 are relevant here. Greenbelt is designed to prevent urban sprawl and safeguard the countryside. It is explicit. Building up to 450 homes on Greenbelt is in direct conflict to the NPPF. The Buckinghamshire Council call for Brownfield sites closure on the 22nd of March 2021 forms a part of the exploration of the new local plan. This will include Beaconsfield and is yet to be agreed and adopted. As a result, the real housing need for the area has yet to be determined. Without such determination, the case cannot be made for development on the Greenbelt. It is also noted that the provisions in this application are reserved. Beaconsfield Town Council do not therefore have explicit nor specific detail of what is proposed. As a consequence of the above, Beaconsfield Town Council strongly request that this application is rejected and then signed. And then I had hoped that we would attach a copy of Town Council Greenbelt policy, but that is to be discussed and agreed next Thursday at the Town Council meeting. So I suggest that we propose we put this forward with an appendix which lays out all of the core policies that apply to our objection. And Tracy, if you don't mind, if you could submit that tomorrow morning.
Yeah, that's fine. You've mentioned signed on behalf of Beaconsfield. It's really it's signed on behalf of Beaconsfield Town Council, presumably either myself or somebody, chair of planning.
Right, okay, sure. No, absolutely.
Rather than the full council.
I'll amend that and send it to Tracy tonight. Yeah.
Okay, no, that's fine. Good. No issue with that. Oh, sorry, I lost my place now. Oh, wait, yeah. So, moving on. PL/21/3597 CONDA 70 Lebra Lane. Approval of Condition 17 Sustainable Drainage Scheme of Planning Permission Variation Conditions 4 and 17 of Planning Permission 17/01191/FUL. Redevelopment of site to provide detached building comprising 5 apartments, incorporating basement car parking, creation of vehicular access ramp, refuse store and landscaping works to allow changes to design of building and submission of landscaping proposals prior to development extending above ground floor slab level. So I looked at the plans. To be frank, I just thought the best thing to do would be say they're noted. There's a detailed letter about drainage. I know they've had this is on the old school site, isn't it? What was the school, Deirdre? You know, when the playing fields were always underwater in the winter, weren't they? Anybody that bought a house in Oakdean, that's it, Patty. That's right. That's absolutely right. Yes, it's a notorious, always has been, isn't it? Notorious area for.
Right.
Oh yes. I mean, Charlie Church, when he built the Ledborough Lane development, I think they had pumps pumping water out for a long time. It was the first site. Crikey, when was it? 1980 something, or 1990 something. First site where a house sold for £1 million. And it was a footballer, I can't remember who it was, bought it. But that area is susceptible to flooding, and I think that's really what the point that was being made. So I think, so far as we're concerned, we just say noted, and unless anybody else has got any comments to make. Okay, so moving on, PL/21/3576/VRC, 99 Berks Row, Beaconsfield. Variation of condition 19, approved plans of planning permission, demolition of existing dwelling, garage, greenhouse and shed, and erection of a new detached house with attached triple garage, and new entrance gates, brick piers and railings, and new vehicular access to allow for an increase to the basement floor area. This is a big house on a big plot. And I think we're just saying noted. I mean, it's they've varied the condition. As far as I can see, I can't imagine anybody getting excited about it. I don't think there's any objections. So I think we just say noted. Paul, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, and as far as I could tell, the changes are in the basement area anyway, so nobody's going to see them. Yeah.
No, nobody's going to see. I think, again, actually, the issue here was, I believe I'm right in saying the next door neighbour was concerned because of the size of the basement, that the underground flow of water, because there's a reasonable amount of water, even, with Beaconsfield being so high, they were concerned that might get diverted and affect his property. And I think that has been addressed. I believe that's the case. Anyway, so as you rightly say, I mean, it doesn't affect anybody else. So we just say noted. Okay, item 7, planning updates. Are there any planning updates? Paul.
Sorry, it was just a note that if we put Alison into a corner, we've moved on.
Sorry, have we not?
She hasn't come back.
She hasn't come back out again. Have we? Oh dear, sorry about that.
So you might, just in case she has any comments on the last two applications.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I do apologise.
I just suddenly realised that she hasn't.
No, you're quite right. You're quite right.
I'll message her. I didn't actually put her in jail. She went off the call before that one because I think she was having a problem with her connection anyway. But I'll just check if she's coming back. She may have gone.
Right. Okay. Okay, that's fine. There's obviously a lot happening in Beaconsfield. Just as a comment, as you probably know, Bucks Council lost their appeal against the use of the A355 for HS2. And I was going up and down the 355 yesterday trying to find some fuel, actually, but because I was coming over to my mother's today, I did get some eventually. And I counted, I think it was 8 or 9 big HS2 trucks. I got HS2 in white letters on the windscreen. They appeared to be empty, actually. And they were coming towards Beaconsfield. So whether they were picking some. Are they going back to the place down Hedgley Lane? Were they to pick up the gravel or something? Is that what they're up to?
I think, aren't they bringing it out from the construction site and away, and then they go back empty, I think.
Oh, I see. Yes, you're probably right, Paul.
That's the way it's going. Yeah.
Yes. Well, I was only on the A355, I guess, for about a quarter of an hour. And as I say, I counted probably half a dozen. I think the first one I missed, actually, because I didn't realise what it was, other than it was a big. But they all seemed to be the same type of lorry. That's what drew my attention to it. And then I realised it was HS2. So it's starting.
I know. It's dreadful, isn't it? It's just awful. It's appalling. I mean, if somebody said it would be cheaper to knock Birmingham down and rebuild it and bring it closer to London than it is to do HS2.
Yes, I agree. Alexa.
Can I just suggest, as we've completed the agenda, that I can close the YouTube and you can formally close the meeting?
Yes, indeed. I was just waiting.
Paul has his hand up, Graham. Yeah.
Sorry, Paul. Yes.
Yeah, sorry. I just, before we do, I just wanted to say, obviously, with respect to the policy, the Greenbelt policy, obviously, that will be now discussed at the Town Council meeting next week. I just wanted to be clear, because the way that was created was a little out of sync because of the timing of the last meeting and then the timing of this meeting. We worked that offline. I just want to make clear that in future, if there are ever any other planning policies that we want to discuss, that we make sure we discuss them within these meetings. Yeah. And obviously, as policies, they would need to go to the Town Council to be approved. But obviously, we need to work them within one of these. So we need to be ahead of the game on
that. Right, Alexa.
This committee has a particular purpose, which is as a statutory consultee. So it's not really a policy making environment. So you can have whatever meetings you like to develop whatever policies, but that is a full Town Council responsibility, not a planning committee responsibility.
Absolutely, but we need to work them somewhere. So that's the issue.
Yeah, and they don't have to be worked in this committee. They can be worked wherever you would like to work.
But they could be worked at this committee. And I think that's the point that Paul is making. And we would like minuted that they could be actually discussed in this forum and then taken to Town Council, because therefore it's public, it's transparent, there are no closed doors, and it means that everyone in Beaconsfield, ratepayers, taxpayers, can see the discussions that are being had, and then we can go to Town Council to agree policy. But the discussions about planning policy should perhaps be made within this forum about planning. Do you agree, Graham, or not?
You may agree, but I'm pointing out that this is a point of order for how our committees work and what we do in a parish council. And this is a statutory consultation. That's the purpose of this committee, and it is not a policy-making environment.
I'm not suggesting we make policy.
We can arrange other meetings for you to do that, but that's not the purpose of this meeting.
What? Okay. Can I?
What other meetings could we have?
Can I just go back to what we've done? As you know, I've been involved in planning for some years. And going back to what we used to do was when we had a matter of significant importance, Wilton Park obviously being one, then because of the gravity and the nature of it, it was necessary to involve all the council, so that everybody had some input into the decision-making process. And then indeed, obviously with the local plan as well, you would then have a public forum as well to discuss. As far as the planning committee is concerned, we're only a consultee, as Alexa's quite rightly pointed out. We can't decide policy, and we look at individual applications, and you can't expect the full council to look at every single application. That would be a complete waste of resources. But so far as when you get a significant application, which may have fundamental effects on the area, then that matter in the past has been discussed as a full council item. And that's the way. It doesn't mean to say that the members of the planning committee who are advised don't have any input, and if they want to, of course they can, but that is at the full council meeting as opposed to this specific committee. Paul?
Yeah, no, we might be talking slightly at cross purposes. I think the point is, when we feel that there may be something that may end up ultimately to go to the town council for it to make a decision, there inevitably will need to be conversations and work undertaken. So it was just about formalizing that when appropriate, we would have those discussions within our planning meeting to then propose to take forward anything that requires it at a later stage.
If it is required, then an extraordinary meeting may be called by the chairman of the council, but it is not appropriate in this committee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think so. Deirdre, sorry, did you want to make a comment?
No, I agree with Alexa.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we should go forward to the council meeting, which
So
we're going to do.
Yes. Yeah.
It's going to be raised there. So.
Indeed so, yes. I mean, it's not to say that people may have views, and as Colette has done, we can circulate email and all the rest of it. What we don't want to do is have duplication and decisions made here, which are then not passed on and agreed at the full council, bearing in mind that the totality of the council now, with individual affiliations, if I put it like that, it's necessary to take all councillors' views. Sandy.
Yes, may I ask if you have actually closed the meeting? I think that Alexa was making the point.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, yes, you're quite right. We haven't actually. We should.
Can we have a virtual bang the